Hello there, welcome back to JJ's Productions, and yeah, we've had some news. Past couple of days, been a few updates. I haven't been able to do a video in that time, so that's why I'm a little bit late. But yeah, we've had an Omicron for Embo, which we're going to start with, but we've also had the TIE Echelon and the MG100 StarFortress SF-17 resistance tank come out. So let's start on Embo, we'll work our way around them. So, Embo. Pretty simple upgrade, but it is pretty good for territory wars. So, new final text on his unique Way of the Kyozo. Embo can't be critical hit, which remains. While Embo has protection, he gains plus 30% offense. Still remains. In fact, I think the first paragraph will remain. While Embo has no protection, he gains plus 30% critical chance. Again, that looks pretty similar, maybe just a slight rewording. When Embo receives damage from an enemy's attack, if he has no protection, he gains foresight for 2 turns. So again, that's all the same. However, we've got the territory wars, amend them. Bounty Hunter allies gain plus 40% max protection. At the end of Embo's turn, Bounty Hunter allies recover protection equal to 25% of Embo's max protection. Doubled for Embo. Whilst Embo has protection, all Bounty Hunter allies gain plus 30% defense and 5% turn meter when a Bounty Hunter ally receives damage while debuffed. So remember, Fennec Shand, she applies Overconfident to the team, and when that's dispelled, I believe it grants turn meter. So not only is you're going to be gaining turn meter from Fennec, you've also got the chance now to get turn meter from Embo. Adding to that, there's a ton of protection that'll help Boskin's team, plus keep the team alive in general, especially when you're punching up to GLs. That is a massive Omicron. You've got Boba Fett, Scion, and Jango. I imagine that now is going to be your mandatory 5th in that Bounty Hunter lineup. Saying that, I have also seen that some people have been using BAM, Fennec, Boba Fett, and then maybe Queel and IG-11. So it might not change that type of lineup, but hopefully this is the game, or the devs trying to push people more towards the Bounty Hunters, which is a little bit of a shame because I think Mando, or Beskar Mando, did need that bit of love. But maybe the argument is you can use Boba Fett, Scion, and Jango in Grand Arena with Beskar Mando, but in Territory Wars keeping with the Bounty Hunters. Maybe that's their thinking. Anyway, pretty simple that. I do like it. If I got a nice big Embo, I would use it myself, so that's something. Alright, so we'll go in reverse this time. Normally I'd do the dev insights first, but we're going to just look at the kit reveals for both ships, and then we'll deep dive into it after. So the TIE Echelon, now this is the one I'm interested in personally, because I've got a First Order fleet on one of my accounts. So when this is available, I will be farming it. The other one is available sooner, and I will try and farm that just so I'm not behind, but I'm not as bothered by it. Whereas this beauty, this could be good for a finalizer fleet. Well, it should be. So, we've got a First Order tank that covers its allies by providing them with stealth, which is quite good. I think that will be a nice little mechanic for the First Order fleet, although it does sadden me a little bit because it means that the Executor will be able to dispel stealth quite comfortably. Okay, so final text. Deal physical damage to target enemy if the enemy is hunted, which 9 times out of 10 they will be because the finalizer takes the first turn. Inflict target lock for 2 turns, which cannot be resisted. So, I like it. Pretty simple, but it's just the idea that, okay, you attack. If they're hunted, they get target lock. If the enemy already has target lock, you then call all of the First Order allies with advantage to assist, and they gain advantage for another turn. So, very nice. Mass assist on a basic, you can't beat it. Okay, special. The Galaxy's Edge, and the pilot of the ship is going to be First Order Officer, which I don't mind. I've got him at Relic 5. I wouldn't even mind taking him to Relic 7 if it made the fleet better. We'll soon find out though. So, final text. TIE Echelon gains 30% protection up for 2 turns, and all other First Order allies gain half of that amount. Call all other First Order allies to assist, dealing 50% less damage, and they gain stealth for 2 turns. Again, that's pretty basic, but it's not bad. Again, we've got mass attacks on 2 turns. So, in theory, if you can spread target lock around, you're going to be in a good position. The interesting thing is going to be, though, as that little animation shows, Silencer doesn't have target lock in its kit, and to my recollection, Command Shuttle doesn't. I will check the kit while while I'm editing this, but to my recollection, Command Shuttle doesn't. So are these suggesting that maybe you're going to have to wait for target locks? Or maybe I'm just underthinking it, because it doesn't seem like that would be a starting lineup. I can't imagine the day that you start them two and have Silencer and Command Shuttle on the bench. So it is interesting what they're doing, but we'll see. Let's read the rest of the kit. So, Vanguard of the First Order hardware, which is basically the reinforcement ability. So when it enters battle, TIE Echelon gains 30% protection up for 2 turns. All other First Order allies gain stealth for 1 turn. For the rest of the encounter, whenever another First Order ally's stealth expires, gain taunt for 1 turn. Now, with that in mind, I can't help but wonder if maybe they're thinking that it will be better as a reinforcement, which is a bit strange, but when you think the finalizer is so fast that you can get your 3 turns out pretty quickly. Now, the risk comes that the enemy fleet will take turns as well. So you've got to hope that you can survive their turns, get a lap, and then bring your tank in, which is a bit risky. So I'm not saying it's impossible by any stretch, but maybe that's what they're thinking. Bring your tank in, then you've got the stealth and the reapplying taunt, a bit like Clone Sergeant. So yeah, I'm curious what it's like. We'll have to wait and see, but my gut will say it's a starting ship, but maybe because they want to get target locks out, there's still a reason to start one of the TIE fighters. Okay, final, unique. Might of the First Order. At the start of each First Order ally's turn, TIE Echelon gains 2% defense, max health, and max protection stacking for each stealth First Order ally. By all accounts, that stacks throughout the battle, so you don't have to wait for that to expire. You will just keep getting thicker and thicker, so you really need to take him out quick. When a First Order ally lands a critical hit, TIE Echelon recovers 20% health and protection. If TIE Echelon is the only allied ship not stealthed, and there is at least one other ally stealthed, it cannot be critically hit. So again, there's that bit of me that does think maybe it will be better as a reinforcement, but until you get your hands on it, it's hard to say. I mean, I would be surprised if you've got to essentially brave a wave of enemy attacks just to bring your tank in. But it's not impossible. Like I said, the finalizer is a very fast fleet, so it could be the way they're going about it. Not to mention, when you think the finalizer has reinforcement abilities that kick in from the start, you read that as it is, it gains protection for 30% protection for 2 turns. Yeah, it won't benefit there. All other First Order allies gain stealth for 1 turn. So at the start of battle, First Order allies would be stealthed. And then for the rest of the encounter, whenever a First Order ally's stealth expires, gain taunt for 1 turn. So that won't really impact from the bench. But you just wonder, would you actually benefit if all the First Order allies were stealthed at the beginning? Probably not. So yeah, it really does seem like a starting chip. I mean, I think they've put that in as like a thing to think on, but yeah, I can't really see the day you need the tank. Maybe it's for the offensive fleets you might use, and you say, right, I can bring in the Echelon if I need it. But I think by and large you would start it. So yeah, that just got me thinking. Alright, so as I said, we will come back to the Echelon and the thoughts behind it, but let's go back to the StarFortress. I like the ship. I think it's pretty cool. They've put a bit of effort into the design by the looks of it. So, resilient resistance tank that can take punishment and debilitate enemies. Basic gunners look alive. Final text. If it's the StarFortress's turn, deal physical damage twice, inflict target lock for 2 turns. If the target enemy has 5 stacks of the sweet spot, recover 15% protection. Okay, so that can make quite durable. You know, I think that is a positive. So special, begin drop sequence, cooldown of 3, and the pilot for this ability is Resistance Trooper. So, deal physical damage and dispel all buffs from target enemy. Remove 10% turn meter per stack of the sweet spot. Inflict evasion down for 2 turns which cannot be resisted. If the target enemy has 5 stacks of the sweet spot, place 3 concussion mines on them, which cannot be evaded or resisted. Okay, so then they explain what concussion mines are, which anyone who's got a negotiator or even got the Sith bomber, you know what that is. So I look at it and I think this ship could be quite plug and play for that one ability alone. Deal physical damage and dispel all buffs from target enemy. So my first thought there is Bosk. Remove 10% turn meter per stack of the sweet spot, so we'll come back to that bit in a bit. Inflict evasion down for 2 turns which cannot be resisted. If the target enemy has 5 stacks at the sweet spot, place 3 concussion mines on them which cannot be evaded. So yeah. My thoughts are that the biggest issue with the Executor right now is there's so much evasion. You cannot guarantee a hit. So if you can create a lineup where you can get the Resistance Bomber to get evasion down on a specific target, it's a bonus. But the thing is, it's only a single target one. We've already got Karth and the Ebenork with mass evasion down, but we need more. You know, you need something that can really start and do that. I'm not convinced that this could do it, because like I say, you could probably get it onto Houndstooth pretty early on, but it isn't really Houndstooth you want evasion down on. You want it on either Xanadu Blood or on Razorcrest, couldn't think of the name then. And for the record, for anyone who's just listening to this, I am not saying that it should be a counter and Executor. I'm just looking at things where, is there anything coming out that may be leading to it? Because I think everyone's got to admit, the Executor is still lacking a really solid counter. The Malevolence can counter it. It's not like you can't beat it. It's just that when you think about it, there is RNG involved. You can win just as often as you lose based on what the AI decides to do. And so a lot of it is tied to evasion. So you think if you've got more ships that can land evasion down, it's good. In fact, I think this could actually make it onto the Malevolence fleet for this pure reason. But with it being a single target one, I'm not sure how effective it would be. I mean, like I say, at best, you can maybe use it if you've got the taunt off Houndstooth and you want to just apply evasion down to, say, Xanadu. Or later on, maybe Slave 1 or one of the reinforcing ships. But I think from the start it would suffer, especially with it not being in its ideal fleet. Anyway, they're my thoughts. Move on, so second special, Tico's Sister Legacy and cooldown of 3, and guess what? It's Rose Tico as the pilot. Did anyone expect anything less? Final text. Recover 50% health and gain taunt for 2 turns. I like that for the simple reason there's no resistance tie-in. Like I say, if you were to use it in a Mal counter, you could use that and it would recover health, gain taunt. It's not like you need the resistance for that bit. Now, the next bit is there. Call all of our resistance allies to assist. That's a bit of a bummer. But then you got the dealing 50% less damage. If the enemy has 5 stacks at the sweet spot, resistance allies assist with no damage penalty. So again, that isn't too bad. You know, you get more damage if you've got more stacks at the sweet spot. And we are going to come on to what that is. So, hardware, the reinforcement ability. Enter battle. Apply 2 stacks at the sweet spot to all enemies. Resistance allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns, which is very nice. It wouldn't surprise me actually if Radis on its own could possibly counter Executor. Maybe not easily, but maybe they're trying to make it a soft counter alongside Malevolence. I don't know. There's things in the kit that I like, especially when you think that Radis at the beginning had potential, so maybe this is just buffing it up a little bit in that regard. I mean, even if it just makes cleanups easier, I will personally take that. I mean, I haven't got a Radis, but I still like the idea. Okay, so unique, the sweet spot. Oh, I wonder why it's called that. Final text. At the start of battle, if all allies are resistance, the StarFortress is immune to critical hits for 1 turn. That's a little bit low if I'm going to be honest, but maybe as we read on, there probably is a reason. The StarFortress gains taunt for 1 turn if an ally with Deflect a Shield receives damage from an enemy. So when you think Deflect a Shield is the Radis's go-to move, or the go-to buff, shall we call it. So yeah, that goes around a lot, so the StarFortress will taunt a lot. If the StarFortress loses taunt, it gains taunt for 1 turn if it didn't already have taunt, and if another resistance ally has Deflect a Shield. So essentially, that's a bit like Jedi Master Kenobi's ability to make General Kenobi taunt. So it's a bit of a weird description, same with the Kenobi kit, but yeah, essentially, if it loses taunt, it'll gain taunt a bit. It's like old Ben as well, so it's not an uncommon thing, but it's just very poorly worded, unfortunately. So yeah, if it loses taunt, it gains taunt if there's someone with Deflector Shield. While the StarFortress has taunt, it has 100% counter chance. So if we go back to the beginning, we go to the basic. If it's the StarFortress's turn, hence why they put that in there, deal physical damage twice, and then it says inflict target lock for 2 turns. So there's potentially a bit of target lock flying around in this team. Plus it will recover 15% protection if it's got 5 stacks at the sweet spot. Okay, so Whenever the Star Fortress gains Foresight, the Star Fortress dispels it and gains critical hit immunity for 2 turns instead. So that does explain why it was only immune to critical hits for 1 turn, because you go and gain a lot of crit hit immunity potentially. And then finally, whenever a resistance ally deals damage to an enemy, they apply a stack of the sweet spot, max of 5, until the end of the encounter or until the Star Fortress is defeated. So that is a pretty nice way of getting that status effect out, because yeah, it should take enough turns across the battle to get that 5 pretty quickly, especially if you can manage to get some well, maybe not out of turn attacks, but I'm thinking about, you've got Ray's Falcon, for instance, with an AoE, so that's going to get a stack on quite comfortably. So it's all about then, can you just keep dealing it out with the bomber as well having 100% counter chance. It should well, I say it should be countering quite comfortably, so it should then be applying the sweet spot on enemies. So fingers crossed it could get to 5 quite quickly. Maybe too slow again for an Executor. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence, but I'm hopeful it can do something, but it probably will fall short, which is the developer's intentions. But I think that's the big thing right now. If it can get close, then it's going to be a good fleet. I mean, if it can get close to beating the Executor, then you think it should be able to beat Negotiators, Malevolences, anything that was higher. So it could make Home 1 more relevant as well. So yeah, just in general, I think both of these are very good additions to their respective fleets. I mean, if we're going to be a bit brutally honest, it would be nice to get more. The tanks were the important ones, so I'm not disregarding any of that. I am so glad they've decided to give us a tank for both fleets. If you're being greedy, it would be nice to get 1 more for each. And when you think there may be 1 more on the roster already that they could give a ship to, I'm not entirely sure off my hand who that would be. But it would be nice, I've got to just say it, because I feel like that's something we are still missing a little bit. I mean, I'm just looking, the Sith Bomber hasn't got a ship, so it'd be nice to give him a ship. And I'm trying to think of Resistance, but I can only think off the top of my head of Veton and Chewie, and you can't give him the Falcon. So, short of swapping the name around on Ray's Falcon to Veton's Falcon, and giving Ray an X-Wing, I can't think of what they could do there. So that's a bit of a bummer, I'm not going to lie, but maybe the argument is that we've got enough. I politely disagree there. 5 First Order ships and 4 Resistance ships now. I don't think that's a lot, but I also recognise that some of these fleets are meant to be on demand. So I'm looking more at fleet depth rather than is it possible to do something with it. Of course it's possible, but it'd be nicer to have more. So yeah, that's where I'm lying on that. But yeah, some interesting news. I was expecting something else last night as well, but nothing else came out, so maybe we're just a few weeks away from, is it the Road Ahead? Yeah, the Road Ahead should be coming sometime soon, so hopefully we'll get some more news then, because if anything, we've got the Razor Crest that should be going to a farming location. And they haven't actually said what that farming location is going to be. I've said for a while I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't the Get store. It wouldn't even be a surprise if it was that they've got another territory battle coming out and new currency will be Get 3, and they put something like Razor Crest on Get 2 knowing that it's not the primary farming currency anymore. But equally, I don't really want that. I really don't want another territory battle yet, because my guild, or one of my guilds, is only just getting to 17 stars in Geonosis Dark Side. And we've just done our first light side Geonosis, so I'm looking from a selfish point of view, I know, but I would like more time to just get to grips with what we've got already without being told, right, there's a new one, push for that, push for that. So, yeah, I'm a bit concerned, I think I shall say, in regards to potentially another territory battle coming out soon. But again, that's speculation. I do a lot of speculation in these types of videos. It's like I've brought up the Ravager when we haven't even heard a sniff about it. But I think this is the key thing with this game. You've got to think about what something could mean. I mean, these Inquisitors that have come out, they might mean nothing, but chances are they'll lead to at least a legendary, if not something bigger down the line. So that's how you play this game. You have to farm things and know that you're going to get something from them eventually, even if it is just one good team that they released as. So yeah, I think to myself, I don't know exactly what's going to be coming, but it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't something like a territory battle that we don't particularly want. But it would then give them an excuse to say, right, Razor Crest, get it from the get store. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave this video here. I've been speaking for 20 minutes and that's way long. So thank you for listening, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed some of my thoughts. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Bye for now, everyone.